What's up everybody? My name is Vincent. Welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about everything under the moon in the crypto universe. Today is Monday, September 1st, and yes, today I'm making a video about DOG and the overall crypto market on my vacation. The reason I'm making this video is because I just discovered something that I think is preparing us for a very bullish reversal for not just DOG, but I'm talking about altcoin season in the month of September. And this could be the start of Runetember when runes make an epic comeback. Now, let me go ahead and just go into all the different events that could trigger this altcoin season that really we should be expecting in October, but it really could start in September. This is just my thesis. This is just my thought. So I do want to share it in this video, and let's get right into it. Let's not waste any time. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X, and please be careful with any of the scammers down in the comments below. I'll never reach out via WhatsApp, Telegram, direct messaging, or email. So please be careful and invest safely. Guys and girls, let's get right into it. As you're noticing, the DOG price is around a 230 million market cap. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are feeling super emotional or super triggered by this price. But what I want to share with you in this video is a little bit of clarity, because if you compare DOG to other meme coins, you'll actually see that DOG is actually performing a same pattern that seems to be a very bullish pattern regardless of this pullback. And it is actually reflective of all meme coins, believe it or not. But before we get into that, let's look at all the meme coins. Right now, every meme coin is in the red, so just don't think it's about DOG. I'm sure a lot of these other meme communities are having their own internal battles, and I'm sure that a lot of holders are very disappointed or very upset that their bags are not going up. But it's not just DOG, it's every single meme coin. Look at, they're all in the red. Now, if you pay attention to Bitcoin's price, notice that just over the past month, we just saw that Bitcoin at an all-time high price, close to around 124,000. That's a new all-time high. Then all of a sudden, we saw this huge capitulation event of Binance selling their Bitcoin, Ethereum, and many other altcoins to a company, a market maker called Wintermute, that was liquidating their positions to liquidate longs. So a lot of people who got greedy, who thought Bitcoin was going to go up higher than 124,000, they all got liquidated and are still continuing to get liquidated as of today. So you're seeing a lot more short traders actually win, a lot of long traders end up losing. So whatever happens to Bitcoin's price, it's ultimately going to affect every other altcoin. But not only that, we're also seeing OG Bitcoin wallets that have been dormant for a very long time sell their Bitcoin in order to buy Ethereum. And that's why you're seeing Ethereum's price kind of holding steady. But as I mentioned before, Ethereum is usually the leading indicator for altcoin season. Now, we need to look into two different performances, from the best months for crypto to the worst months for crypto. And if you don't know, August that just passed, that just closed as of yesterday, is the worst performing August after every single year of a Bitcoin halving. And I'll go into that in just a little bit. But just notice that September could also be a very bearish month as well for crypto. That's historically what we've seen. But regardless if September is going to be a very bearish month, and we do see a bottom of Bitcoin and all altcoins, look at the month of October. October through November, typically all the way up until December, performs very well. The reason why we call October Uptober is because historically October performs very well. Q4 typically historically is very bullish for cryptocurrency. Now let's look at Bitcoin monthly returns. Like I said before, every Bitcoin halving a year after that, usually in the month of August, Bitcoin does really well. But believe it or not, for the first time in history, we just saw that August in 2025 was a negative 6.49%. Now, if I compare that to the last Bitcoin halving, a year after, in 2021, we saw an increase of 13%. Back in 2016, the last halving, a year later in the month of August, 65%. Same thing in 2012. There was a Bitcoin halving a year later in the month of August in 2013, 30%. So now this is the very first time that we are clearly seeing manipulation within the market, with Binance working with Wintermute, but also OG whales dumping their Bitcoin to buy Ethereum, as you're seeing with the on-chain data. So as I mentioned before, September historically is not a great performing month, as we see here in negative roughly 0.12%. Back in 2021, we saw a negative 7%. Then back in 2016, in 2017, we saw a negative 7%, and in 2013, negative 1.7%. But what could send the month of September in a non-bearish scenario? Well, there is the possibility of that Fed rate cut. As you can see from Polymarket, right now the increase of a 25 basis rate cut is now 83% in favor of that. Now, have you noticed something on the CME Fed Watch tool? Last week, it was roughly around 83 to 84%, and now has increased to 89% in favor of that 25 basis rate cut. Now, if we do have that Fed rate cut, let's look into some historical data. Look back over here in September of 2025. What happened when we actually had a Fed rate cut? We saw that the altcoin market, this is excluding Ethereum and Bitcoin, the whole altcoin market rallied 109% after that. And that lasted roughly for about 3 months of that parabola event, which was actually quite interesting. Another indicator is this: the altcoin season index is now back up to 61. And as I mentioned before, usually we want to get up to 75. That's the trigger of altcoin season, but we're not there just yet. And if we focus on historical data, when we get to that exact point, eventually we're going to head up to that point. And as you can see right over here, back in January of 2024, and over here back in November of 2024. So this really sets up for runes to come back into rune timber, is what Kraken has suggested. And as you know, runes are heavily traded on Kraken because Kraken is the only tier 1 centralized exchange that supports runes integration. So the only place they can actually buy runes with ease to swap it with any token on Kraken allows people to trade easily with this whole FUD in the market. I mean, if you think about it, the best time to be dollar cost averaging and to have exposure into your favorite assets is when there are dips. And usually 99% of those people will not buy those dips. Only the 1% will, because number one, they have liquidity. Number two, they have the conviction. And number three, they have the patience, because once they buy that dip, all they have to do is just wait it out. Now let's go ahead and look over back in Bitcoin Asia that just happened over the week. As you see, KuCoin, or aka Ken Lau, he is from the Xverse team, the founder and CEO of Xverse. He ended up educating to hundreds of attendees over in Bitcoin Asia about Ordinals, runes, and especially DOG. And then you also saw that Bitcoin After Dark, which was an event in Hong Kong held by Pizza Ninjas and sponsored by Dog of Bitcoin, just had a huge attendance of people supporting the cause, but also they're also having a great time. The fact that people are more aware about runes, especially on the East, aka in Asia, just goes to show that this is the very beginning of Asia starting to hop into runes, and it hasn't been priced in yet. And sooner or later, once the altcoin season comes back, you're going to see that Asia is going to step in and buy these assets. In other news, you see that C2 Blockchain is contacting Mark Yusko, talking about the next stage on having anybody as a co-sponsor to back the DOG ETF. And what that allows them to do is that once that has that co-sponsor, if it's going to be Mark Yusko from Morgan Creek Capital or Kraken, what will happen is that they will do the heavy lifting. C2 Blockchain, they're going to file for S1, 19B4, also the custodian trustee, AP's admin index, and SSA. So hopefully this will all kick into gear, but a DOG ETF just seems like it's right around the corner. C2 Blockchain leading in that forefront. Now, I did create a petition recently for OKX to list DOG for spot trading. I listed all these different reasons, and thankfully all of you have put in your vote. Roughly 1.2 thousand likes, 708 retweets, 357 comments, with total impressions of 34,000. By the way, this is actually garnering their attention. This isn't just something that they're ignoring. And if you don't know, Hong, who is also the president over at OKX, does follow me, so she is paying attention to this. And the reason we bring this up is because if you think about it, look at all these other tokens: Peanut, Knot, Mean, Miro, Mudang, Dogs, and even these other rune tokens such as Arsic, the only one that's listed for spot trading on OKX. They're all listed for spot trading. And not only that, they actually all have lower market caps compared to DOG Bitcoin. The reason I bring that up is because community is the most important part, not these pay-to-play models, because all these different assets, all these different coins had team members or insider allocations to pay these exchanges, and yet it's not sustainable. Just to give you guys and girls credit, as the number one meme coin on Bitcoin, you guys and girls have absolutely been hustling and also showing up every single day in crypto Twitter. And that's why you're seeing that DOG is outperforming all these different coins, regardless of what you're seeing in the price of the market cap and of meme coins overall. Tomorrow, KuCoin Futures is holding a Twitter space with MQM and Leonidas, along with KuCoin business development Matanuis. I think that's how you pronounce his name. So hopefully this will lead to a KuCoin spot listing. We'll see how that goes, but this is just something that I want you guys and girls to kind of participate in. Attend that Q&A on Twitter. It's going to be tomorrow, September 2nd, 1400 UTC time. Now let's get into charting and analysis. Now I just noticed something. DOG could be forming from this whole time a bullish falling wedge pattern. Now what is a falling wedge pattern? Basically, it's a pattern that signals potential upside or upwards price reversal, characterized by a series of lower highs and lower lows, where the support line, the lows, is less steep than the resistance line, which are the highs. This pattern indicates waning selling pressure, which we're going to show you in the charting, and may signal the end of a downtrend. The traders often looking for upside breakout above the upper trend line to confirm a potential buying opportunity, which is this line right here. So let's go and dive deep into this pattern. So this is the falling wedge pattern that I'm seeing right now. So like I mentioned in that previous slide, we're forming lower highs. So you can see this is a high, and then we formed a lower high here and a lower high here. And then we're forming lower lows. So this is a low, followed by a lower low, followed by another lower low. But as you can see, the dog price is bouncing up and down. Remember we talked about that waning selling pressure? This is a great example. Now we had massive selling pressure here, which you saw reflected in the price of dog. And then you saw another massive selling pressure right around here before we saw the crack in spot listing. And then the price went right back up. So this is what we're seeing in terms of increased selling pressure. But waning selling pressure, which is weak selling pressure, looks something like this. Even though you're seeing the price of dog starting right around here, going downwards, the selling pressure is actually not that bad. In fact, there's actually a good balance of buying and selling. So when we first saw waning selling pressure right here, guess what happened after the dog price? It ended up pumping up to the upside. Then we saw another waning selling pressure right here. What happened? The dog price went right back up. So what do you think is going to happen right over here? Because if you pay attention to these twin range filters, there's a short, a long, a short, a long, a short, a long, a short. We're looking for the next long position, which long means that there is a buy signal and people should place their positions for a long. And we won't see that long signal flash until the price of dog goes up, fighting past this resistance trend line, which is pretty much the confirmation that dog is going to go back up. Now, look at this percentage of how far dog has gone. It's down 56%. Now, you must be feeling, well, that's just happening to dog. Well, it's actually not. And before we get into that, look at the specific date on June 27th. Okay, well, let's go and move on to the next meme coin. Look at Pengu, June 27th. Remember, we saw a falling wedge within dog. We're also actually seeing it with Pengu. And in fact, it's actually down 40%. And now let's look at Bonk. Same thing. June 27th, we saw an increase of the price of Bonk, and now it's down roughly around 51%, just like where dog is. You think it's just happening to dog, but it's actually happening to all meme coins and actually altcoins. Let's look at SPX 6900. It's actually down 52%. Remember, after June 27th, it pumped and then is forming another falling wedge. It's not just dog. Let's look at Shiba Inu. Maybe not down as much. It's down around 26%. But keep in mind, Shiba Inu is in the multi-billion-dollar market cap. It actually has a higher market cap than Bonk and Pengu and SPX 6900. The Shiba Inu price went up, but also went down 26%, also forming a falling wedge. Let's look at Floki. Floki is the exact same thing. After June 27th, Floki's price went up and then dipped back down to around negative 43%, also forming a falling wedge. Let's look at Dogecoin, same thing. After June 27th, we saw a massive pump rally to the upside. Then we saw the price of Dogecoin fall down and we're forming another falling wedge. This is down 27%, but again, this is the number one meme coin by market cap. Let's look at Dog With Hat, same thing. After June 27th, we saw the Dog With Hat price go up and all of a sudden take a huge capitulation event, falling a forming wedge down negative 43%. So remember, after June 27th, we saw the dog price increase, and obviously that was obviously due to Kraken listing, but we saw the dog price go down along with all these other meme coins. Yes, dog is down negative 1.41% over the past 24 hours, but look at Bonk, it's down negative 8% over the past 24 hours. So this is why I want to share with you charting and analysis, because there's a reason why the whole meme coin market is capitulating in altcoins. It's because these market makers, Binance, and also these bigger manipulators want you to shake your bags out and make you sell so that you can't buy back in. And in fact, if we go over to Crypto Capital Ventures AI unit, which is the risk model, you can see that right now we're still in the range of a moderate buy at 25 ranking. Remember, these are the best times to buy when we're at 25 or lower because there's low risk, meaning there's more upside. If you're buying into maybe the high risk zone, that's close to around 100. Even when we reached around 999 million market cap over here in December of 2024, in June, 970 million of 2024. These are still moderate risk, not moderate buys. These right here, these levels right now are moderate buys, meaning there's more upside for dog. And most likely the people that are buying in have the liquidity at these levels or the conviction or the patience to buy dog because they know that altcoin season is just right around the corner. And to kind of close it off, we're still waiting for CoinMarketCap to release who are the top 5 cryptocurrencies that are going to be featured on the front page. But overall, when I use Grok, the AI unit within Twitter, in terms of doing its internal analysis on which cryptocurrency or which crypto community is most likely going to win or be a part of the top 5 within this campaign, dog keeps coming up as number 1. Simple as that. And if dog is not featured on the top 5 for CoinMarketCap, we're going to exploit them. The thing is, as much as we are such a powerful community in the crypto atmosphere within meme coins, we also have the power to voice and hold accountable these major platforms such as CoinMarketCap, and making sure that we exploit that corruption if that were the case. So keep this in mind. We're going to be paying attention for the next 24 hours of this. So everything in a nutshell, you just saw what I've just reported with you, that it's not just dog, it's the whole cryptocurrency market cap, meme coins, and altcoins. Everything is forming a falling wedge after June 27th. That the fact that Bitcoin and Ethereum have capitulated due to the manipulation of Binance, I just would not fall for that. So I just wanted to make this video, even though I should not be making a video while I'm on vacation, but I thought this was very important for you guys and girls to understand the overall atmosphere within crypto. So I hope that this video has been helpful, and as always, by supporting this channel, I really appreciate it. If you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X to receive all of our alpha calls and updates regarding dog, the crypto market, and also altcoins and meme coins. Till then, see you guys girls next time.